From now on, you report directly to me. That's how she said it. Chin lifted, voice sharp enough to cut glass. It was her first day. She was 13 years younger. Hook 1. But what if that single moment, that tiny smile, hid a plan 2 years in the making? The office went silent, waiting for me to react. I smiled just once, understood. And as I walked out, I placed a single file on her desk, the one that would end her career before it began. When she opened it, she ran to the CEO's office screaming. Hook 2, want to know the secret buried in that file that brought down an entire empire in one afternoon? But to understand that moment, her panic, my calm, you'd need to know what came before. 2 years ago, I was the department head. 27 people reported to me, and the CEO trusted me like a brother. We'd built the company from a damp basement into a multi-million-dollar operation. I'd earned every inch of it, every late night, every presentation that bled into morning. Then she arrived. Her name was Clara, the consultant brought in to improve communication. Translation: she was the CEO's new favorite. The kind who always sat too close, laughed too long, and finished his sentences like they belonged to her. At first, I didn't care. I'd seen replacements come and go. They usually burned out. But Clara was different. She played humble, respectful. She'd come to me for advice, asking how things worked, praising my systems, my leadership. "You're the backbone of this place," she said once, and I believed her. Then the meetings started happening without me. The memos I never saw. The sudden shift in tone when I entered a room. I brushed it off until one night, while sending a report from the shared drive, I saw a folder named Transition Plan. Inside, her name listed above mine. My projects reassigned, my position marked redundant. The file was written by Clara, approved by the CEO. I remember sitting there in the glow of the monitor, pulse steady, not shocked, just cold. They hadn't even told me yet. That night, I stopped being their employee. I became their shadow. I backed up every document, every message, every secret contract, the kind of things that could ruin reputations and spark lawsuits. I'd built this department. I knew where every secret was buried, every shortcut they'd taken to get ahead. Then I waited. 2 weeks later, the CEO announced a leadership change. Clara was promoted. I was moved to advisory role. In other words, fired politely. She smiled at me in the hallway that day, all polished victory and perfume. "I'll take care of the team," she said. I nodded. "I'm sure you will." I spent the next month quietly setting the trap. The company's biggest contract, a multi-million-dollar merger, was built on a lie. Clara didn't know that the CEO had faked the financials to inflate value before the deal. I'd kept proof, emails, signed drafts, audit logs, everything they buried. I compiled it all into a neat file, labeled it Internal Audit Review Confidential, and I waited for her first day as my boss. The office smelled of fresh paint and ambition that morning. She wore a white suit, symbolic probably. Her desk gleamed with flowers and a new nameplate. Clara Benton, Director of Operations. She called me in like she was doing me a favor. "Let's align on expectations," she said. "From now on, you report directly to me." Her words hung in the air, rehearsed, smug, perfect. I smiled. Understood. I placed the file on her desk. "This might help you get up to speed." Then I left. 10 minutes later, she burst into the CEO's office, waving the file, pale and shaking. I watched through the glass wall as voices rose, faces blanched, and the board's secretary rushed in. By noon, legal was involved. By 2, the CFO. By 5, the CEO's parking spot was empty. And Clara, she left the building in tears, escorted by security, clutching her handbag like a lifeline. The board called me that evening. They appreciated my diligence in protecting company integrity. The CEO was fired pending investigation. They offered me a return. Temporary oversight, they said. I accepted. Temporarily, of course. When I walked past Clara's old office the next morning, her white suit jacket still hung over the chair. A lipstick stain on a coffee cup. The smell of ambition gone stale. I closed the door behind me. I wasn't angry anymore. I'd learned something sharper than anger. Silence. People destroy themselves if you hand them the right truth at the right time. She thought she'd taken my place. But I'd only ever let her sit in my seat long enough to burn in it. So when people ask me how I stayed calm that day, I tell them the truth. I'd already won before I ever said understood.